everyone, welcome to my channel. Let's talk Harry and Meghan. So Meghan is starting us off with cozy weekend vibes where she showed herself making her spread and also cooking. So that is so wonderful to see. I see one of the children doing something with her in the background there. And also she posted about her podcast that is in New York City on a billboard, and that has a lot of engagement already, almost 1 million views. It is not even 3 hours, guys. Yes. So Megan influences front and center. This coming off of their very successful, very stylish, romantic looking New York trip, where we saw Megan wearing her Ralph Lauren suit and her Manolo Blahnik pumps, and those everything is almost sold out, guys. Yes, that's how Meghan influence is. And that influence is driving royalist and UK media bonkers, and they're doing everything, they're pulling everything out of the woodwork in order to stop that momentum, because they know that people identify with Meghan. They also know that for many people they have to see it to be it, and Meghan is leading a lot of people, showing a lot of people different things. And one of the latest things that the UK media has decided to bring to the front is where this woman is trying to talk about Pearl, the animated series that Megan was bringing to Netflix over 3 years ago, by the way. And during this talk, usually when something comes up about Megan, we always find out something new. And during this whole thing they were trying to revive, I found out that Megan's name means pearl in Welsh. I also saw a poster saying that Megan did a school paper about pearl. So I don't know about that, but that was also brought up. But Tim Wilson decided to take this up, and he did 17 minutes of rant. And the last time I watched him before this was where he posted about Prince Harry's court case. And his take on that was very nuanced, very good. And I almost shared it until I realized that he did not mention Meghan or the children in his analysis of and their need for security. I had unsubscribed from him long before, but every now and then I would go back to listen to him, see his take on things, which I'm not going to go back after all of this. And his take on Pearl was his tone, as Baron said, was very nasty. He spent a lot of minutes repeating tabloids narrative, which he deliberately researched and brought into this because he knows how to do a research as a professor. He is not speaking as a professor, which I have to remind myself that he has no more authority than anybody else, even though he's the professor, because he's not speaking within the constraint of an institution. So he has no more authority on Harry and Meghan than me, for example. I have an MBA. I have published, as I've self-published a book. It is a very small book. It has sold very few copies so far, but that doesn't give me more knowledge than anybody else that has done any research on Meghan and Harry, unless they went to school to learn about this. And by now, we have enough material to have a course on them, of course. But I have to remind myself that Professor Tim Wilson is a professor of theology, and although he's a learned man, that does not mean whatever he's saying does not come through the lens of him being a royalist. And him, like many others, cannot stand that Meghan is not being controlled by that institution. So, moving on to the other thing that I wanted to talk about, which was Prince Harry going to the Legends of Aviation award for the second year in a row. I did not see much video or anything on that, and I was disappointed that he and Meghan did not go together. I was so looking forward to that imagery, but we got a lot from their visit to New York. And during their visit to New York, of course, remember that they unveiled their Lost Screen Memorial, which is part of their ongoing effort with trying to make sure children are kept safe online. And in that vein, they had formed the Parents Network. And Prince Harry, while he was there, also attended the Responsible Technology Youth Power Fund, RTYP, Convening, and it is said to be a dynamic gathering of young leaders, partners, and funders committed to shaping a safer, more inclusive digital future. And those two things can be found on their Sussex.com site, which has been updated to include the Time 100 2025 Summit. And my next story that I saw where Virginia Godfrey has passed off. She had been in an accident a couple weeks ago. And so that was an ongoing thing because at the time she had said she had 4 days to survive. And then this is the latest news that is being updated on her. And so may she rest in peace. And having heard that news, my mind, for some odd reason, or maybe not so odd, went to Sarah Ferguson and what her role is going to be now, because I believe that she was brought in specifically to take the heat off of her ex-husband. And so I'm just thinking, how are they going to update that dynamic? And I also, of course, always when I hear anything where anybody that is next to that family, when anybody, unfortunate happened to them, how people still want to doubt that Harry and Meghan had to escape. Even somebody that was in the fold, their husband died, and he left this huge debt, and people are acting like because you're close to money that means you have some of it. No, that doesn't mean that. And then all the UK royalists and minions and mouthpieces are still parroting the idea that because Prince Harry was born into that family and was close to all that wealth, that he himself had wealth. He was not wealthy. And we have seen all the time, without fail, that many of the family members are struggling to build their own wealth within that institution. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining me today on this update. If you like my content, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And talk to you soon. Bye.